Thank you for requesting a free Inqqa trial. Inqqa AI connects the dots in employee surveys and market research. We have made this tutorial to help you get started with Inqqa in a real quick and easy way. It will take you through the whole process from dataset to insights in this short tutorial. We will hope this will get familiar with Inqqa in the shortest possible time. If you have more time or want more elaboration, we'll gladly give you the full story, so reach out to us. So let me first start by getting a data set. Please feel free to visit our website at inqqa.ai and find our Learning Hub. Our Learning Hub contains a lot of background information. It contains short how-to videos which highlights specific features in Inqqa and goes into depth on those features specifically, or we have tutorials available which are more elaborate stories from complete data sets or highlighting a complete story. Here you will also find the resources. We have two resources available. For this video I'm gonna focus on the employee survey example. So without further ado, let's just download it. It will download the file to your local computer and it's an Excel file. So I'll quickly show you the Excel file. The Excel file consists of a number of columns, where the most important column is the open question. The open question: please describe what's most important to you in building your future with this company. And below that there are a bunch of open responses to that question. This data set is quite extensive. It has over 8,500 complete responses, and it spans 10 different languages, English, German, Finnish, Japanese, so quite a nice data set to play around with. There's also some background information available, so per respondent, per complete open-ended response, there's information about the gender of the respondent, the age, tenure, and job level and job function. So we can inspect this file, but we can also just upload it to Inqqa and play around there. So let's jump back to our Inqqa interface and I'll show you how to get started. If you have a new data file, you can just simply start by clicking the Upload New Project button. It will allow you to give the project a name, demo, and pick a reporting language. So I told you our test data set has over 10 languages. They're quite evenly distributed, but of course you will have a preference language to work in. We will not work with translations, but we will give a preference to the examples in the language you pick here. So I'm gonna pick English, but any of the other available languages you are comfortable with working in would also be a good choice here. I'll stick to English. Just drag and drop your data file here, or just quickly select it, and you are ready to hit the Create New Project button. Let's stand by while it uploads. And here we are. So Inqqa has done some analysis on the file already. It has found a column which consists of text. So that is our column with the open responses to please describe what's most important. We can just quickly click here to make sure Inqqa will analyze it, and you will immediately find your background information here, which Inqqa identifies as filters, making it possible for you to filter your data set and make nice comparisons later. We're ready now to just hit continue to ingest. So the data set consists of over 8,000 complete responses. The first thing what Inqqa will do is segment these complete responses into different segments. So a complete response can consist out of multiple sentences, and of course a sentence can also hold different parts which cover different topics. I'm gonna quickly jump ahead from this interface. This has some possibilities, but we will revisit that later, because right now we will focus on our basic process. This will give you full control to use the wording and the labels you prefer. It will be supercharged by our AI models, but there's a way to do it even more automatically, but we'll revisit that at the end of this video. For now, I'll just quickly point out that we have a nice distribution of languages. We can find our filters here, and we'll quickly go to explore. So what Inqqa will do is it will not present you all the data. It will guide you through the process where you, as the analyst, can define the topics which are of interest and give you a naming and define how far you want to segment these topics. So I told you there are over 8,500 complete responses. A multitude of segments is detected from these complete responses, but here we will see an overview of a little under 4,000 segments in this data. If I click it, I will get a view which looks like this. It's a tiled overview where similar segments of data are grouped together. So again, this is not a definite classification, but it is designed to help you explore the data quickly and point and click and name what is important to you, to your business case, for your stakeholders. So you have complete control in how you name it and where you make your distinction between different topics. So let's start with our biggest collection of sentences or segments, opportunities to develop your skill and use of your potentials. This is a complete segment from a complete response, and if I click on it, I will explore 187 similar segments. So if I click, I can see that project opportunities that utilize, opportunities to develop, improving and learning. So this is all about development opportunities. So for me, I would say, well, these segments can all be grouped together under the topic development. So if I want to provide that knowledge to Inqqa, I'll simply right click on add new label. I will type development and I will hit OK. And now I have colored one tile and all the underlying segments which are there. So if I click on it, I will see everything has turned this nice color. So having opportunities for growth, I think this is the same. I can right click and I can simply just click on development. So the idea is not for me to completely color all the tiles, but just provide a few examples of the main topics I am interested in and label them in the wording which is important to me. So let's quickly do a few more. I'll quickly just click and color a few. Leadership, always an important topic. Leadership, great leadership. We can dive in. Führung, here you see a German one. So this is showing the power of Inqqa being able to group segments into from different languages into the same tiles. I can just say, well, this is about leadership. I will name it leadership, and that will be it. If I do not agree for an underlying segment, it's also possible for me to just say, well, this segment over here, I want to give it a different color, and I'll add a new label and color it in a different way. But in this case, this will be fine. Typically, you will need to spend 15 to 20 minutes exploring and finding the most important themes, topics in your data set. After I have spent 15 to 20 minutes, I'm ready to hit the classify button. What will happen when you hit the classify button is that our AI models will use the knowledge you have provided to Inqqa and project it onto your whole data set, coloring the segments you see here, but also the segments which you do not see from our 8,500 complete responses. So let me just quickly jump to to a project where I have already finished this process. I will just quickly go back, go here and open this one. So as you can see already here in the interface, I have defined some 10 topics and themes in this data and colored a few tiles. I've already pressed the classify button, so after this project opens I will get a nice overview which will be similar to after you have spent 15 to 20 minutes exploring your data and hitting the classify button. So here you will see a typical example. There are a nice spread of topics and themes I have named, I have colored. There are a few which remain gray. That is okay. Sometimes these things are classified as something different than I have defined. So do not be surprised about that. I can bring forward the topics I have defined, and I can also explore them into more depth. So if I want to see what segments in this data set are all detected as for instance salary, I can click on salary and then I will get the same sort of overview but only with segments which are identified as salary. So after I've spent 15 to 20 minutes here, I'm ready to get to my insights basically. So you will find the visualize and export button here, and after you have clicked it you will immediately be presented with insights from your data. So this gives me the very first insight, the distribution of topics in my data set, sorted by alphabet, but I can also do amount. So what I can see immediately here, that in this data set the most important topic discussed is salary, next to training and development and teams and colleagues. I can explore the complete sentences about these different topics, so I can just scroll down, for instance click on salary and find all the responses which talk about salary. It's also possible that a complete answer covers more than one topic. So for instance, if I click here and I browse down, I will find some example, personal example here, about leadership. I can find that connection, it has to do with teams and colleagues, and leadership motivation is about some other topic. So this is an example of a complete sentence, complete response by a respondent, which falls into two different categories. I will find it under leadership and I will also find it under teams and colleagues if I click the other one. So building up to more insights, because this is the high over insight, I will be able to play around with my filters or my background information. So the filters, you might remember from our data file, we have information about the gender of the respondents, the age, the tenure, etc. If I want to make a comparison, it's very easy to just unfold this menu, click on female, and you will see my bar chart being updated. Below the title you will find that now I've only selected the female respondents to my survey. If I click on add comparison, it will lock my selection and it will replicate it. So now I have made a comparison between female and the females, so that will be the same. But if I change it to male, you will see my bar chart updating, and you will see that the females on the left talk more about communication and transparency than my male respondents on the right. So this is a very insightful thing from my survey. If I want to make a note of this, I can click on this button, add insight, and I can type that salary is more discussed amongst my male respondents and communication and transparency is discussed more amongst my female respondents. I can save this insight and then I will be able to find it back in the menu under View Insights. So possibly after you have built your analysis here and define some insights, you might want to share these insights with your stakeholders. It's possible to do this in a number of ways. The most easy way is hitting the Share Project button, which will enable you to click on this button, and that will generate a immutable link which you can share. And if you share that with your stakeholders, they will be invited to click on the link, and they will be able to open this interface, so a read-only copy of this interface where they can play around a little bit with this background information and see the insights you have saved, but they will never be able to go to the Explore and Classify screen where they will where you can make changes. So they will not be allowed to go there. It's simply not possible. If I do not want to rely on Inqqa on presenting my results, I have also a nice number of possibilities. I can export a data set, which basically enables you to export what you've uploaded to Inqqa through an Excel file, so you can upload it again into your own reporting tools. You can export accounts, which basically enables you to export this bar chart, the numbers from this bar chart, so you can redraw them into different colors with Excel. You can export the examples, which will give you a list of these sentences. And you can also save the graph, which enables you basically to store this real estate from the screen and copy-paste it into some sort of presentation. This covers the basic Inqqa process, supercharged by AI, and it will enable you to work really quickly with your data. So please play around with this dataset. You have an empty project available. Play around with it, see if you can draw the same conclusions I just quickly did based on a very short 15 to 20 minute process. If you want to go one step further, you might remember the screen I showed you during upload. You can also ask the AI to provide you with wording, themes and labels from your dataset. I will quickly show you how that works. So if you have an empty project or just uploaded a project, you can leverage the power of the GPT models by using the magic button. So if you hit the magic button, it will take you to the screen which you might remember from the upload, and it will enable a button automatically detect relevant labels. So what this button will do for you is it will color the Inqqa overview based on suggestions from the AI. If you click it, it will give you those examples. I will quickly just open the project I've already prepared for you to jump ahead here. So here it is. It's a very interesting feature. It will give you slightly different results every time you use it. So some of our clients are really enthusiastic about the way this speeds up your process, but it does give you slightly less control, which some clients do not prefer. And that's best described by this example. You have just seen the manual process where I have identified 8 to 10 different topics in this dataset. If I just let the AI figure it out, it will provide me with a much wider spread of topics. There are a little over 20, I think, even here. So if I jump to the visualize part, this is done completely automatically without any manual interference. So looking at the results, trying to draw conclusions from this, I will immediately see that compensation is the biggest topic here. Well, you might remember from our previous exercise, salary was the biggest. That was a choice. I named it salary. I could have also called it compensation, but if I leverage the magic button, making use of the GPT integration, sometimes it will suggest salary, sometimes it will suggest compensation. But if you look at the top 3 or the top 5, just from a completely automated analysis, you will probably draw the same conclusions. Compensation is one which is important. Communication, learning, and relations is important. But here you can see that value of employees and training is there, and support are all, and skills are all separate topics which you might want to group together. Well, Inqqa also allows you to do that. So what I also recommend is do experiment and try the GPT integration, see what it will do, but do review and make your own decisions on how you want to label the topics it suggests. If you want to merge them, maybe you want to split them. This is all possible. So, thanks you for following this tutorial. I hope you will have fun playing around with this data set. These basic steps I hope will give you a nice way to start. If you have any questions or want to elaborate more, do visit our website for our how-to videos and tutorial videos, or reach out to us. We'd love to help you. Ciao!